Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Up and Adam. My name's Adam Knoll. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm the guy bringing you guys all the weekly interviews and recaps from your favorite celebrities and pop culture influencers. Today's no different. Today we're back to talk about Vanderpump Rules and the Toms more specifically. Love those guys. I think they're amazing. We'll jump into that. But before we do, if you haven't already, go ahead, smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. Now with that, let's jump right in.
It's time for all your binge-worthy pop culture news. Welcome to Up and Adam.
All right, guys, so it looks like the Toms have a new show. They have a new restaurant, which has been out for a couple years now. I worked at this restaurant, but now they have a new show, and I'm so excited for them. I hope it's good, though. I hope it's no Bravo's chat room, because while Bravo's chat room has had some good moments, I just don't know if it's necessarily completely there. I thought it was okay when there were 4 hosts, but now watching it with just Portia and Giselle, I love Portia. I don't know so much about Giselle being on the show. I think, and let me clarify, I don't know Portia in person, but I like the energy she brings to the chat room, because I know you guys are going to rip into me and you're going to be like, how can you say you love Portia when you did an interview with Fallon Gobadia? I don't have favorites for the most part. I really like everybody for what they bring to the show, unless I just don't like the housewife at all. And then I usually don't bring them up for the most part. Okay, getting back into it, they have a new show and it's called Watch Party with Tom and Tom. This is going to feature commentary on a number of different Bravo series, and it just aired on Tuesday. I'm going to get more into that, but there were some moments going through Vanderpump Rules that the Toms have cringed at, and I don't blame them. If you think about it, they just wrapped up their 9th season. There have been some horrific moments that you would have to live back. And one of the funniest things about this, if you guys don't really think about it too much, maybe you have, but these people, whoever these reality stars are on these different franchises, they go through a series of months filming, and then they think it's over. And then they have to do the confessionals. Then they have to film a little bit of B-roll. And then they do the reunion. Fast forward 3 months, boom, we're done. And then all of a sudden the episodes start airing again. So all of those cringeworthy moments you have to watch back, and then they're edited. So I'm sure it's more hypersensitive, because you're like, shit, well, that didn't happen. And that made me look like, a villain, or this made me look so bad. Well, that's the power of editing and producers, especially when they're, writing you a huge paycheck. You sign up for the job. This is the most cringeworthy moment for the Toms. Well, for Tom Schwartz, one of the most cringeworthy moments that he actually experienced on the show was when he doused Katie Maloney with wine, and she's like, Tom! And she's like, I hate me more than you hate me, more than you could ever hate me. If you guys remember that moment, it went down in reality TV history, because nobody would have thought that the boyfriend, this relationship, that the guy, Tom Schwartz, would have thrown wine at his now wife. I'm sure looking back at that, that was probably one of the drunkest moments, but it wasn't the drunkest moment. Well, from what they're saying, the drunkest moment was actually when the shirts came off and they had that brawl in Las Vegas. They said, honestly, 30% of that night has been lost. We don't really remember it. It was a shit show. And looking back, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. You don't feel good not knowing exactly what happened, and again, having to rewatch it on TV. Toms, it's okay. We still love you. Now, when it comes to their show, Watch Party with Tom and Tom, they said that they're basically watching old reruns of Vanderpump Rules, Southern Charm, Summer House, and new episodes of Salt Lake City. And when they do, they're going to do different themes and cocktails and bring on some of the biggest Bravo-holics, while also adding in some special guests. That's exactly why I feel like this is kind of a mix of Bravo's chat room and Watch What Happens Live, except Tom and Tom edition. This is what I have to say about this. Knowing the Toms in person, they are so funny in the way that they play off of each other. And they've had this banter for so many years now that it almost becomes like a character of their, I want to say, most authentic selves, because this really is who they are. But they've developed these characters that just kind of magnifies who they are. And their banter is hilarious. It's almost like good cop, bad cop. I don't want to say, it's like, I don't know. They're just both goofy. So I think that if they can bring that energy to the show, the watch party, and play off of the different Bravoholics and not be the total center of attention, which Tom Schwartz usually isn't, and I still love you, Tom Sandoval, but not be the total center of attention, I think that they might actually have a banger here. This might actually get ratings, and hopefully they're getting paid good for it. Someone's got to pay the mortgage on these $1 million homes. Schwartz said that rewatching is sort of therapeutic for him because there are some episodes that he's never seen before. He chose not to watch those episodes. And he said, now watching them back, you're going to see him suffer. And that might be comedic in its own right. Again, just because at least you know the guy got paid for it. So you're suffering, we're watching you suffer, but you got paid for it. You're living in a $2 million home. We forgive you. Now, even though that we know that Vanderpump Rules is, even though that we know, what am I saying? That Vanderpump Rules will be returning this fall, season 9, and it will be a completely different dynamic because we lost 8 of the cast members. Tom and Tom shared that they thought after the explosion and the Bravo firings that this may very well be, that they were worried that this may be the end of the show. I think a lot of us had those same feelings, and we all wondered what would the show look like without Stassi, Jax, kind of Bo Clark, Brittany, Max and Brett. As much as I loved working with Max, I don't think that they were on the show long enough to have a huge fan base. So they won't necessarily be as missed as Stassi and Jax, if anybody even misses them, period. With them being the reality TV villains, they had a very interesting, unique fandom behind it. A lot of people hated watching them because they thought that they were vulgar and their behavior was atrocious. A lot of people loved them because it was almost like their alter egos. And they're like, yes, go Stassi, rip her head off. And then a lot of people love to hate watch them, which is oddly strange. And I still don't understand the concept of hate watching, but the point is they're gone and the show has moved on. We've been teased that the show is going to be interesting because we have Lala and Sheena navigating motherhood. And then they've also brought in a couple new cast members, which hopefully spices things up. Everyone keeps asking, will they eventually move the show to Tom Tom? My thoughts would probably be no. And the only reason I say this is because if you've ever walked in SUR when they're filming, they have to change the lights, put the lights up, shut the music down so they can catch the audio and get the proper lighting for the show. And when they do that, it changes the whole vibe. If you've ever been in one of these restaurants, everything is about the mood, from the music to the lighting to the ambiance. It's all about the ambiance. The smell when you walk in of the candles, it smells amazing. When you are producing a show, you don't have to change the smell, but unfortunately, some of those things have to be tweaked. And I think it could take away from how much, the restaurant might be making that night. Now, I'm not a manager and I don't do the books, but I'm just kind of guessing maybe that's the thing. And it drives a lot of traffic to SUR, but Tom Tom doesn't need that. It doesn't need it because it's always packed out anyways. And I'm sure after the COVID restrictions lift, it will continue to be packed out. So I think they might as well just leave it how it is. But also, I'm not the executive producer, so I'm not calling the shots. However, I want to know what you guys think. Are you guys looking forward to a Tom and Tom watch party after show? Are we looking forward to this? Are you looking forward to season 9 of Vanderpump Rules? Could you do without it? And how do you feel about the Toms? Guys, if you haven't already, go ahead, do that, comment below. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell. Because, well, you don't want to miss anything we have coming up. With that, we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.